Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is the start of a new series that I'm doing called On My Mind, where I basically just talk about everything that I've been thinking about recently or just things that have been on my mind. I thought YouTube would be a really cool place to kind of share my thoughts and stuff and just put it out there as kind of a chatty video. I'm just going to get started. So the first thing that has been on my mind is my negativity, and I feel like I haven't always been negative. I feel like I don't really know. I feel like usually I'm seen as quite a chatty, bubbly, like positive person on the outside, but on the inside I am so negative. I would consider myself as a negative person, a cup half empty, like whatever other phrases you can use to describe a negative person. That is me. I'm just negative about everything. I feel like I can never see the positive side, and I kind of feel bad for my mum because I feel like I always moan to her about negative things, like, oh, this isn't going right, like I should have just done this and this isn't working, blah blah blah. And I just feel like I need to learn to be more positive. I was actually thinking on making a video on how I'm learning to be more positive, and hopefully it would like help other people, and also I feel like it would hold me accountable for being more positive. I feel like if I was to make a video about that, then I would have to be more positive because I've told the internet that I'm going to be more positive. But I feel like it probably started when I was doing my GCSEs, because exams and stuff, and I was like, you're not revising enough, you're not doing this properly, blah blah blah, and then it kind of stemmed from that. And now I'm at uni and I've been kind of negative for so long, I feel like it's kind of become second nature, or like it's basically become a habit to be negative. So whenever I try to be positive, I'm like it's really, really difficult. And yeah, I don't know how to explain how difficult it is. It's kind of like breaking a new habit, like waking up every morning to like exercise in the morning, because I feel like I do it for a little while and then after a while it becomes really hard and I'm like, oh, I can't do this anymore, it's boring. And that's what it feels like to try and be positive. I'm getting surrounded by gnats. But yeah, so I do want to start being more positive, because also I feel like it can really ruin your mental health. I feel since starting university, I think my mental health has definitely got worse, which obviously isn't great, but I also haven't helped myself by being so negative, because at uni I'm always like, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, like your work is rubbish compared to other people, you're not going to make it as an illustrator, because I do illustration at uni, and I'm just really hard on myself, just for no reason. And obviously I'm not about being positive all the time, like not everything is always going to be so positive, but I'm just unnecessarily negative. It's like this little voice in my head every time I do something. It's like, oh, that's so ugly, like you're not doing this right, you're not doing that, you've left all your work until last minute and now you're not going to get it done. But instead I should be thinking, okay, I left my work until last minute, but there's nothing I can do about that now, so what am I going to do to like change it? What am I going to do to like just not be so negative, basically? And I think that's definitely something that I am gonna work on, because I feel like a lot of us are negatively unnecessarily, and also probably even without us knowing, because I can be negative for ages until I kind of like catch myself out, and then I'm like, oh, I'm being really negative. But the next thing was, which is kind of like similar to to being negative, is doubting myself. I am like a chronic doubter. I'm always thinking that I can't do something. If someone asks me to do a commission, I feel reluctant to do it because I doubt my ability to be able to do a commission for this person. And it's really annoying because sometimes I'll paint something and I'll be like, hey, that's really good. Kind of like my Jane Goodall painting that I did recently. I don't know if people have seen that, but I was like really proud of that. And now I look back at it and I'm like, how did I draw that? Like, how did I manage to have the skill to be able to do that? And I just think it's really weird because I can do it, I just lack the confidence to like believe in myself. And I think believing in yourself has like so much power. If you're constantly doubting yourself and saying that you can't do something, then you're not going to be able to do it, because whilst doing that thing you're constantly saying, oh, I can't do it, it's not going to go right, like it's going to look ugly, it's going to look really bad. But if you sit there and think, yeah, I can do this, like it's going to look great, and if it goes wrong then it's a learning experience. And I think that has so much power, and like our brains, I feel like, just have so much power to be able to do stuff. And yeah, I just think that's really cool, and I think a lot of us don't realise how doubting yourself and being so negative can like really affect that, I think. Moving on to anxiety. I am a very anxious person. I think, again, it's got worse since I've been at university, which kind of sucks. Actually, it really sucks. It's really annoying being anxious about everything. Like, it's so frustrating because, especially at uni, I would be like anxious to like leave the house and stuff, or anxious to go to lectures. And I'm sure like lots of people get anxious about these kind of stuff, but there was a point in first year especially when it would get to a point where I wouldn't want to go into uni, and sometimes I would miss stuff because I would wake up and feel so anxious that I wouldn't want to go in. And again, that is also something I really want to work on, but it's so difficult. I'm also anxious to do things alone, which is very annoying. I always want to do all these different things, like go to the cinema or go swimming, and whenever there's not someone to go with me, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I just won't go then. But unless it's something that I would have liked to have done with a friend in the first place, I feel like if I still want to go, then just like go, because it's like no one cares that you're doing stuff alone. I've never looked at someone before and thought, oh, look at them, they're doing stuff alone, like that's so weird. I've never thought that. Like, if I see someone alone, I don't even think anything of it, because I don't even think anything that it's that normal to be by yourself doing stuff. Like, I just don't think anything of it. And I remember back when I was at second year in uni, so a couple of months ago, I went to the cinema by myself to watch Civil War, and I was so nervous the whole day. I couldn't concentrate on my work. I was like dreading it and thinking maybe I should just cancel my ticket and not go. And it actually ended up being fine when I got there. Like, it was okay. So I got nervous. I mean, I didn't get nervous about nothing. I feel like it's a valid thing to be nervous about, but I got overly anxious, and it turned out to be like absolutely fine. So I definitely need to do more stuff by myself, and also just getting anxious about small things, like, I don't know, just little things. Going to the bank to put cash on, I get nervous about that because I'm like, oh, like walking around town, I feel like people are going to look at me and think stuff, but they're really not. Everyone's in their own worlds, and if they do think something of you, then it's probably going to be for about 2 seconds, and then they'll probably forget about it, because yeah, that's just the way things go, I guess. But yeah, so moving on from that, I'm going to talk about starting university, which I go to university in like 2 weeks. It's Wednesday today, so 2 weeks and a couple of days I go to university, and I'm really dreading it. I start on Monday the 23rd, and I go back Saturday the 21st of September, and I'm so nervous. I really don't want to go back. Uni for me hasn't been the greatest experience. I think I would go as far to say I've really hated it. And obviously, like, not everyone's going to hate uni, everyone's going to have a different experience, but I don't know what it is. I just really don't like it. I don't like being away from home. I don't like the amount of stress that is put on people. And in like the course, obviously there's going to be like stress for like deadlines and stuff, but even just being at uni is stressful. Like having to get your shopping by yourself, getting public transport. I hate getting public transport. When I'm at home, obviously I drive, but at uni I have to get public transport, and I hate it. And I just don't like being away from home. I feel like I'm quite close with my family, so it just kind of sucks being away from home. And also, I'm very awkward meeting new people, so I feel like I haven't made a lot of friends at uni, but I've made, the friends that I have made, they're like good friends, which I'm happy about. But I do feel a bit awkward sometimes when I see people with their like massive group of friends, and I'm like, oh, that's a bit awkward. I don't have that many friends. But also, I'm kind of like, it doesn't really matter, you know, like I've got good friends, and that's all that matters, I suppose. But sometimes, if I'm being honest about it, I do feel a bit awkward. And even though I'm not looking forward to uni, I would like to make it a positive experience. I don't want to go to uni thinking, oh, it's going to be the worst year ever, I'm going to hate it, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. I think I need to go to uni thinking, right, I know I don't like uni, but at the end of the day, it's my last year, and I've just got to like pass my course and do the best I can, and it's all going to be fine. And just try and enjoy my last year, because unless I'm doing a master's, which I don't think I will, this is my last year of education, which is a bit scary because then I'm going into the big wide world. But yeah, so and another thing about uni is that I feel like, I don't know if people, or I feel like people are going to be watching this who are on my course, and I don't know if they feel the same, but I personally feel like it wasn't worth it, to be honest. Like, I don't feel like and to be honest, I need to make more of like the facilities that I've been given at uni, but also at the same time I feel like for what you have to pay to go to uni, it's not really that worth it. But at the end of the day, I've like gone, I didn't drop out, I've stuck with it, because some people were like, my friends and some family was saying like, oh, like if you really don't like it, then it's like it's okay to drop out. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know, because I don't want to drop out and then regret that I've dropped out. So I just kind of like stuck with it. And some parts of me are like, I wish I dropped out. Other parts of me are like, I've stuck with it, like I've learned life experience, I've learned how to live by myself, how to pay bills and stuff. And yeah, but I don't really know. But again, I'm just going to try and make it a positive experience this year and like make the most of the facilities that I've been given, and then hopefully it will be a bit better than first and second year. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about, which is a bit off topic from university, although I guess it kind of links, but is social media, specifically Instagram. Oh, I don't even know how to explain it. I just really, really hate Instagram at the moment. I think it's probably the worst. Well, I suppose TikTok is probably up there. I also hate TikTok. I don't have TikTok. Sometimes I will download it to like post a video that I want to kind of like post to get a bit more engagement on stuff. Like I think a couple of weeks or like 2 weeks ago I posted a video of my recent YouTube video, but only so I could kind of like let other people know that I'm posting on YouTube, so it would get a bit more like reach, I suppose. And then I deleted it. But I don't like TikTok. But anyway, the main one I was going to talk about was Instagram, and it's so annoying. I just hate everything about it. When it first started, I feel like Instagram was really nice. Like you would share pictures with like your friends and stuff, and you would put filters on things and just scroll. I had Instagram at high school when it kind of was first starting. That's so weird that Instagram like first started when I was like still alive. But yeah, I feel like it was never an app that you would scroll on. I don't ever remember when Instagram first came out being like, oh, I'm just going to scroll for Instagram, because the only stuff that would come up on your feed was like your friends and like people recommended to you who were like friends of friends. Is that called mutual friends? I don't know, but like, you know what I mean. Whereas now there's just like so much information. You've got like posts, you've got like reels, stories, and also your like suggested feed. There's just so much information, and I really do think Instagram is so toxic and negative, and it's just negative for like no reason. Like I'll be on like reels getting distracted as usual, and I'll go on a video and then I'll look at the comments and people are just like commenting on people's appearances, like oh my god, you look so ugly, like why are your lips so small, or like I don't know, just stupid stuff like like you've got weird eyes, oh my god, you should shave your hair is so ugly, and just people just being horrible about people's like appearance, and there's just no reason for it. And even like I feel like a lot of people used to use fake accounts to hate on people, and now when I go on the comments, it's just like people, like girls that are my age, who you click on their account and think, oh, they look nice, and then you're looking at the comments they leave and I'm like, why are you being horrible? Like, I just find it so weird that people watch reels and see posts on Instagram and then they're like, yeah, that girl's got really weird lips, like she's ugly, I'm gonna comment on that Instagram post and tell this girl that she's ugly. And it just really annoys me because there's just no need. And I feel like it's almost kind of become normalised on Instagram now, because I'll go on comments and there's like 900,000 comments on this video, and like people are just nasty. Like all of these comments are just people being so horrible, and there's just literally no need for it, and I just hate it. And people in the comments will be like, oh, if you wanted like sympathy or like positive comments on this post, then Instagram wasn't the place to post it, you should have posted it on TikTok. And I'm like, yeah, but why? Like, no, Instagram shouldn't be a horrible place, and I just really don't like it anymore. It's also really hard to like grow your account. It's just not the same. Like, it's hard to get people to notice your stuff, and I feel like back in the day Instagram was like a great place to like grow, especially for like artists, to like grow your following and put your artwork out there. And now it's really difficult to do that. I feel like Instagram is more of a place where you just go to like dump a couple of pictures that you've taken and then that's it. But yeah, also there's just too much information. Like, I think I said this earlier actually, but it's just like an information overload. Whenever I go on Instagram and then I come off, my brain is like fried because there's just so, like, it's just visually exhausting to look at. There's just too much on there. And that also goes with like negative news as well. There's a lot of negative news on Instagram, and obviously like we need to know about stuff that's going on in the world, but literally so many posts are negative, like, oh yeah, the planet's burning and like nothing you can do is going to make a difference. Like, why do I want to know that? Like, obviously it's important to know that there's like lots of stuff going wrong, but also at the same time, like, I want to know the good news and stuff. And then also Instagram, there's a lot of conflicting advice. Like, I'll be scrolling on Instagram and there'll be someone who's like, oh, you should eat like just vegetables and fruit, so basically like vegan, I suppose. And then I'll scroll to the next post and they'll be like, this is why you should only eat raw eggs and raw steak for the rest of your life, otherwise you're going to die at the age of like 25. And I'm like, what? And then, oh, it's just so annoying because like you look at one thing and you're like, oh, okay, and then you look at another thing and you're like, oh wait, they're saying that I shouldn't do that because it's bad. Like, one person will be like, put honey on your face because it's antiseptic and it's like good for your skin, and then you'll look at another post and be like, don't put honey on your skin because it's gonna make you into a massive wart. Like, there's just so much information on there that's like conflicting, and I know people are gonna have like different opinions and share different advice, but it will literally be, I'll be watching one video about one advice and then I'll scroll to the next one and it'll be other advice, and it's just annoying. And I've actually deleted Instagram off my phone, and I feel like it's probably going to be off my phone for a while. I haven't actually deleted my account, I've just deleted the app off my phone. And there have been a couple of times when I've gone on Instagram on like the internet, like on my browser, that sounds so old, but like just to like, because I've been like, oh, Instagram, I want to know what's going on Instagram, and then I go on Instagram and I'm like, it's not that interesting. And also going on Instagram on like Google is really hard. Like, you click on a video to watch it and then you come off that video and it scrolls all the way back to the top of your feed, so it's just kind of like inconvenient to scroll through, which is good because then I like stay off it. But yeah, Instagram is just a massive distraction for me, and I just thought it was best to delete it, especially going into third year. I didn't want to get to uni and then delete Instagram. I wanted to delete Instagram before I went to uni so I can get into the routine of not scrolling, which I think is quite important. Like, I don't want to get distracted in my third year watching random people dance like to a random song. Like, I don't want to watch that. It's just a waste of my time, and I'm not getting any value from it. It's not like I'm watching these videos and being like, oh wow, that's great information that I can use. It's like I watch 5 videos and then I forget what they were even about anyway. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about is a bit more positive. I feel like a lot of the stuff I've spoken about is very negative, or not negative, but just like more negative stuff, or not that it's negative, but you know what I mean. But anyway, the next thing I want to talk about is moving into autumn. I feel like a lot of people hate autumn and winter, especially when people are enjoying their summers and like the nice weather. Not that the weather has been that great this summer, I'm not going to lie, it's been pretty miserable down here on the island, but yeah, I feel like a lot of people can hate winter and autumn, and I kind of feel bad for it. It's like, people will be like, oh, I hate winter, it's like the worst season, and I feel bad. Like, what if winter or autumn gets sad that you've just said that? But I feel like even though sometimes, or like, I also quite often will be like, I don't like autumn, winter, like I don't want the weather to change and get miserable because it makes me feel more miserable. But at the same time, I think it's important I think it gives us an excuse to slow down and relax and like reflect on the past year. I think it's just a really important time at the end of the year, and I feel like that's kind of reflected in nature as well. Like everything in the summer and the spring, everything grows and like comes to life and like expands, and then when it gets to autumn and winter, the leaves drop, all the growth slows down or stops, and it's kind of like a time to reflect and just sit and be still. I feel like it's really important to do that, to like look at nature and see what's happening and then reflect it in your own life, if that makes sense. So like when the trees are dropping their leaves and everything's like not really growing, or it's growing slowly, or it's stopped growing, then that is also the time that I think we need to slow down and reflect on the past year and the stuff that we've been doing, and just be like, okay, how has this year been? What am I going to do moving on into next year? And just, yeah, like reflect on everything that's happened, I guess. Like I'm going to miss summer, but also I am looking forward to winter, especially because now it's like, it's going to be cozy and cold and I can wear my cozy outfits. I do like summer outfits, but after a while I don't really know what to wear other than jeans and a crop top. I feel like some people are really fashionable with what they wear and they pick out really cool outfits. I wouldn't say I'm not fashionable. I feel like I do have some sense of style, but I am a massive outfit repeater. I will just wear jeans and crop tops and jeans and whatever. And in the winter, I'm saying that I'm looking forward to all the new cozy outfits, but I probably will just wear jeans and jumpers most of the time. I feel like that's okay though. As long as what you're wearing is clean, I feel like it doesn't matter that you're an outfit repeater. I feel like I used to care a lot about that before I went to uni, and now I don't really care. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to being able to just wear jumpers and stuff, and also just be cozy. Like when it's raining, I can just sit inside and do my work and not feel guilty about not being outside. That's the other thing about summer, is that if I have work or projects to work on and it's sunny outside, I find it really hard to focus and do my work because I'm like, I should be outside. There's also a crow. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's squawking quite loud. But yeah, I think that's all I was going to talk about actually. So that's everything. I feel like it was a bit rambly, but also that is the purpose of these videos, just to like ramble and just talk about stuff. But I actually really enjoyed this. It kind of felt like the voice note app on my phone. I feel like I quite often just go on there and we'll just like talk for 25 minutes, half an hour straight about something that I've really wanted to be talking about. And now I'm like doing it, but in video format. So I hope it was like kind of interesting to watch, I guess. It'll be interesting to hear other people's opinions on stuff I've spoken about in the comments, or like if you've got the same opinion. But yeah, I don't want to extend this video any more than I have to. And I think the lighting has gone really weird because the sun is shining through the trees. So I'm just going to end it here. But I hope you guys have a good day, and whatever you're getting up to, I hope it's going good. But yeah, I feel a bit awkward about ending these videos, so I'm just going to leave it there. But yeah, bye.